Okay, let's talk about something you've probably noticed if you've been anywhere near a college campus lately. ChatGPT is, well, it's everywhere. It feels like it went from a niche tool to an essential part of student life overnight. But the big question is, why? What's the real engine behind this incredible boom? I mean, is this really just millions of students all deciding one by one to try something new? Or is there a bigger social current at play here? Something that feels a lot like good old-fashioned peer pressure, just pushing everyone along for the ride? Well, let's dig in and find out. And to get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at a brand new study. Researchers surveyed 271 university students in the United Arab Emirates, specifically to figure out the social dynamics behind this whole phenomenon. So, first things first, who were they talking to? Well, take a look at this. The group was overwhelmingly made of undergrads, almost 90%. Now, I want you to burn that number into your brain, because that split is pretty much the key to unlocking this entire story. Now, the researchers weren't just guessing. They were working with a very specific idea from sociology called social influence. It's really just a fancy academic way of talking about the incredible power our friends and classmates have over the choices we make. So here's the official definition. It sounds a little dry, I know, but basically it boils down to this. It's that feeling you get when it seems like all the important people in your circle, your friends, your study group, think you should be using something new. It's that subtle nudge that says, hey, everyone else is doing it. You should probably get on board too. And that leads us to the first big question the study asked. Is there a real, measurable link between how popular a student thinks ChatGPT is with their friends and whether they actually plan to use it themselves? And the answer from the data was a huge, resounding yes. They found a coefficient of 0.736. Now, you don't need to be a statistician to understand it. That's a massive number. It shows a really strong, really positive connection. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a huge signal. This quote from the paper just says it all, doesn't it? The more students see their friends using ChatGPT, the more they hear people talking about it, the more likely they are to jump in and start using it too. It's social influence, plain and simple. Okay, so case closed, right? Not so fast, because this is where the story gets really, really interesting. The researchers decided to dig a little deeper, and what they found completely changes the picture. So far, the rule seems pretty clear. If a tool is popular, more people will want to use it. Seems like a simple, straightforward formula. But is it really that simple? Remember that mix of students from the beginning? Does this rule about peer pressure apply the same way to that huge group of undergrads and that much smaller group of graduate students? And boom, here's the twist. The effect is not the same at all. For undergraduates, social influence is a massive factor. It's a huge driver. But for graduate students, that connection is way, way weaker. For them, what their peers are doing just doesn't seem to matter nearly as much. So that just begs the question, why? Why are undergrads so tuned in to what their friends are doing with tech, while grad students seem to be marching to the beat of their own drum? Well, the answer is all about the completely different worlds they live in. Let's just break it down. The undergrad experience is super structured, right? You're in these tight-knit classes and social groups. This study calls this a non-voluntary setting, not because you're forced to use tech, but because the whole environment pushes you to go with the flow. Graduate school, on the other hand, is all about independence and specialized research. Your tech choices are way more voluntary. You use what you need for your specific project, not what's popular in the lunchroom. So this is more than just a cool academic finding. It has huge real-world consequences for universities. It basically proves that if you're trying to roll out new AI tools, a one-size-fits-all strategy is doomed to fail. What this means is that schools need to get smart and tailor their approach. For undergrads, you've got to use that peer pressure to your advantage. Set up student-led workshops, create student ambassador programs, let students teach students. But for grads, that's not going to work. You have to focus on pure utility. Show them how these tools can solve their biggest, most complex research problems. So let's just tie this all together. What have we learned? Well, first, peer pressure is absolutely a real and powerful force driving ChatGPT's popularity on campus. But, and this is the big but, its power is almost entirely concentrated on undergrads. This all comes down to the simple fact that their education is far more structured and group-focused, and knowing this difference is the key for any university that wants to build smart, effective tech strategies for everyone. And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. As AI stops being the new shiny thing and just becomes a normal part of school, will these lines start to blur? Will grad students start to feel more peer pressure? Or will these powerful AI tools actually help undergrads become more autonomous, independent thinkers? Honestly, it's something we're all going to be watching very closely. Thanks for tuning in.